This video is sponsored by Studio Bebop and YugiOhPrices.com for all your pricing needs. Now available on the App Store. For more information, check the description below. What's up guys, this is Olympio coming at you with a discussion video on prophecies or spellbooks. Prophecies and spellbooks. There has been some discussion most recently over if High Priestess of Prophecy is a valid card anymore to put in a spellbook deck. The European Championships, happened in Germany, Frankfurt, over the weekend, and the winner was a spellbook player who had no High Priestesses mained. Now, a lot of people are arguing that High Priestess is kind of like just not a valid card anymore, mainly because the existence of Evil Sworn Orpheon. And the fact that High Priestess doesn't really do anything for the deck, as in it doesn't give it as much advantage as the other cards do. For example, Spellbook of Judgment is like a plus, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever card on its own. Priestess can just be considered really a +1. And I kind of just want to do a bit of discussion on the card itself and where I think it where I think it actually fits. Now, so if you don't know what High Priestess does, I don't know where you have been, but basically it reveals 3 spellbook cards in your hand, special summon it from the hand, obviously, and once per turn you can pop a card on the field by banishing the spellbook card from your hand or graveyard. Excuse me for my allergies, by the way. So yeah, basically, it's level 7. It's very good. It's got a good synergy with level 7 exceeds. It's 2/5, so it's pretty big. It's easily splashable, and it works very well with the deck, obviously. Now, the reason why a lot of people don't play High Priestess of Prophecy anymore is basically because of Dragon Rulers. Dragon Rulers are obviously the biggest threat that this deck has. If you have, for example, a High Priestess out on the field and they decide to go all out, Dragon Rulers go all out against you, High Priestess isn't really doing anything on its own. Jargon the Spiritualist, however, if you just have that out against Dragon Rulers, obviously it's a lot more difficult for them to get around because no monsters can be special summoned. And ideally with Kaiku, because your opponent cannot banish cards from either player's graveyard, so their secondary effects just can't be used. Well, their effects in general can't be used. So that is one reason why High Priestess has been seeing less play. Mainly because it does nothing really on its own to prevent kind of splurges from Dragon Rulers. Now, that's not to say High Priestess is a bad card, because I think it's a very good card. I just think that currently it's not the meta for it. Now, beforehand, before Judgment Day, High Priestess was stupid. Because the existence of dragons didn't really exist. So High Priestess was a very, very big threat. However, now you've got the Dragon Rulers that, and obviously don't forget High Priestess is in level 7. They can just Big Eye, take that and then summon another one of their dragons and quite happily go into Drago Sack and keep that Priestess. So not only has your monster been taken, but Priestess has enabled your opponent to carry on with their Exceed summoning, but only with 1 less of a cost. So it's quite difficult, in all fairness, to see how Priestess could be useful in the deck as it is, as the current meta is. I'm not saying that Priestess is rubbish now, it's not worth any of the money, and it will never be used. I disagree with that because I think it will be used. I think it's a very good card. But the existence of like Jargon, obviously Jargon's a very old card and Kaiku's a very old card. The reason these have been put in is mainly just because of Spellbook of Judgment. Spellbook of Judgment just enables all of this from happening. Obviously, a lot of people first turn in Spellbooks, if they do manage to get that Judgment, they will go Judgment, they will play 3 spell cards, and then go +3 and special summon that Jargon. And that's a very difficult play to get over because a lot of the times they will have a set fate as well. So they're guaranteed to have at least 3 3 spell cards in their grave if they have activated 3 spell cards from Judgment. So obviously that's 4 spell cards that they have, 4 targets for Fate they have. So they have a Jalgun with protection, and a lot of decks can struggle behind that. And if they have Starhall as well then things start to get very difficult for you. And a lot of the times people will prefer the protection and the safety of that Jalgun's no special summoning over High Priestess, because High Priestess, like I said, is just a beat stick that has a pop effect. Jalgun is an all-round control card, and in this format, if you have control, you do well. If you can stop someone's special summoning and support that monster or that spell or trap that stops your opponent's special summoning, then you're going to do very well. It's going to be a big headache for your opponent. Same with Kaiku. Now, Kaiku is obviously 100, well, I'm saying 99% put in just because of Dragon Rulers. Yes, Dragon Rulers are one of the biggest decks around. It is one of the most competitive, and you will see them a lot considering they are just commons and rares. Admittedly, the extra deck is the expensive part, but there's no reason why other people can't use different level 7s, and obviously with Psychic Master or whatever, that new level 7 exceed that comes out soon, a lot of people are going to be playing them more if they can't afford that Dragossack and that Big Eye, and so on and so forth, even the Biscayos, even though Biscayos is very cheap. But Kaiku just sits there. It's a big beater, in all fairness. If you have Starhall out with even one counter, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna get rid of that Thunder King threat, for example. But it also has synergy with Spellbooker Power. The Spellbooker Power makes that 2/8 that searches, and that's a very, very impressive card once you've got 2/8 Kaiko. So, you know, it's very difficult for your opponent to get around. And also, Kaiku does stop Breakthrough Skill, which a lot of people use in Dragon Rulers, because for the exact reason that Jalgun's there. But obviously, it only stops the secondary effect to banish it from the grave in their turn. It still makes it a threat. And Kaiku is just really good, in my opinion. I said from the start that I liked Kaiku, and when I had my Prophecy, I did have them in the deck. But without trying to say I was there first, because, you know, I'm not the only person to have the idea that, ooh, Kaiku is a good card. I was just a little too early with having it in the deck, because now obviously it's in the deck, it's mained and it's amazing, just because of what it goes against and what's in the meta. So I think Kaiku is a very good card, and just Judgment just enables it, obviously. Not that you're going to special summon Jalgun a lot of the times with Judgment's effect, because, you know, you're going to be quite desperate if you need to do that. You're normally always going to go for the Jalgun, and a lot of people are now starting to play 2 Jalguns as opposed to the 1. If you draw it, then it sucks, because obviously Judgment Day is from the deck, if I do remember correctly. Yes, so that's just why a lot of people kind of always will go for the Jalgun. And also the other thing is, not a lot of people are going to special summon Priestess with Judgment's effect. I don't really see a lot of people doing it, to be honest, and I think it might be quite wasteful for them to activate 7 spell cards in one turn. I know Prophecies can do it, and if they are under Judgment, obviously they are going to be, they can get 7 back, which they can quite happily do. Obviously they're going to have to discard, because they'll go over the limit at the end phase, but it's just wasteful, really, going 7, playing 7 spell cards just to get a High Priestess up from deck. So this is why I think a lot of people are starting to doubt Priestess, among the other things that I've said earlier. I just think people are doubting Priestess because it's not viable against Dragon Rulers, because it doesn't really do that much. And that's the only reason. Let's face it, it's not because Priestess is a bad card that other people are saying. And yes, I have brought up this discussion just because a lot of other YouTubers have been talking about it. But High Priestess, I think, is still a good card. It's just bad timing in the meta for the card to be fully maximised. But yeah, so let me know what you think, guys. If you do like Priestess, do let me know. If you do play spellbooks. Let me know if you use 1, 2, 3 or no copies, and tell me what you think of the card in general in the current meta and how it combats other decks. Alright, cheers guys, thank you very much for watching, and Lintheo signing out.